Today I am going to tell you an interesting story. Now this is Amit. One day he comes shouting, "Has fallen, has fallen." Now, hearing this, his father is very worried. He thinks Amit's grandmother must have fallen. So he rushes out to see what has happened. On the other hand, Amit's mother thinks the new glass jar that she had bought recently must have fallen and broken into pieces. So she is equally tensed and comes out of the kitchen. Now, Amit's sister is worried that their baby brother must have fallen from the perambulator and must be badly hurt. So all of them come running in the living room. They all have one question in mind: who or what has fallen? Because Amit has not mentioned that. Now here's Amit. Now what does he have to tell? So he says to all this, a coconut has fallen, and the entire family bursts out into a huge laughter. So what do we see? We see that Amit has actually mentioned only this part of the sentence, which is has fallen. He did not mention who or what has fallen. As a result of which, the entire family kept guessing on what has fallen. Someone thought it was the grandmother, someone thought it was a glass jar, someone thought it was the baby brother. But it is actually a coconut. So what do we see? We see that a verb is not enough. So this part is also important. Once we have this entire thing, we have a complete sentence with a complete meaning. So when I say a coconut has fallen, I need not guess about what has fallen. So I have a complete sense coming out. So this is a sentence. So what is a sentence? Sentence is a group of words which contains a verb. Also, it makes complete sense by itself without depending on any other word or group of words. So what do we see here? A coconut has fallen is a group of words, but it can make complete sense by itself without any other word or group of words. So if I simply say has fallen, it does not make a complete sense. But if I say a coconut has fallen, it makes complete sense and it can stand on its own. So a coconut has fallen is a sentence. Now let us look at the sentence carefully. So a coconut has fallen. What is the verb in this case? Has fallen. Now if I question who or what has fallen, what do I get as my answer? A coconut. So a coconut is my subject. So what is a subject? Now a subject tells us what or whom the sentence is about. In other words, it tells us who or what is performing the verb. So in this case, what do we see? A coconut is telling us what is performing the verb. So the coconut is performing the verb has fallen. So the sentence is telling us about the coconut. So a coconut has fallen, and also a coconut is actually performing this verb has fallen. Hence it is called the subject. Also note, in this case we have this article a before coconut. So a is modifying the noun coconut. Hence a coconut together forms the subject. Look at this example. She is running fast. Now what is the verb here? Is running. So if I say what is running fast, Do I have an answer? No. If I say, who is running fast? Of course, I have an answer. What is it? She. So, she is a pronoun in this case. So, what do we notice? That a subject can be a noun or a pronoun. In case it is a noun, it also takes the article if there's any to modify the noun. So, in this case, our subject is a pronoun. Now look at these two sentences side by side. A coconut has fallen. She is running fast. We already know that a coconut and she are the subjects in the two sentences. Now, what are we left with? In this case, it is has fallen. So, this is the remaining part of the sentence. And what is it telling us? It is telling us about the subject, about a coconut. Therefore, it has the name predicate. Similarly, in this case, she is the subject. Is running fast is telling us about the subject she. Hence, this part is also the predicate. So, has fallen is the predicate in this case. Is running fast is the predicate in this case. So, what is a predicate? Predicate is the part of a sentence that tells us about the subject. Most importantly, predicate always contains the verb. So, here what do we see? Is running is the verb. Has fallen is the verb. In the first case, we see that the verb itself is the only predicate. We do not have any other words in the predicate, whereas in this case, this is the verb and this is the adverb. So, together it forms the predicate of the sentence. But what is important? A predicate cannot be there without the verb. So, we see that every sentence has two parts, subject and predicate. Here we have the subject, a coconut, and she has fallen, is running fast is the predicate. So, from here, what can we conclude? We can conclude that every sentence can be divided into two parts. What are they? Subject and predicate. Now, I have a cute puppy. In this case, it is also a sentence. As you can see, this group of words can stand on its own and make complete sense. I have a cute puppy is a sentence. Now, we know that every sentence can be divided into subject and predicate. So, what will be the subject and the predicate in this case? Well, first, what do we need to do? We need the verb. What is the verb here? It is have. Now, to find out the subject, we need to question the verb with who or what. So, how to do that? So, we either say who or what has a cute puppy. Now, in this case, what has a cute puppy does not give any answer to us. If I say, who has a cute puppy? Of course, the answer will be I. So, I is the subject in this case, which is performing the verb have. Therefore, our subject will be I, and have a cute puppy. This entire part becomes our predicate. Note, the predicate contains the verb and I is a pronoun in this case. So, we know the subject can be a noun or a pronoun. Now, you need to note one thing very carefully, that here we have a noun, puppy, but this is not the subject. Why? Because this noun is not performing the verb have. So this will not be included in the subject. The principal distributed the prizes. Now, what is the verb here? It is distributed. So what do we do next? Question the verb with who or what. Now, if I ask, what distributed the prizes? There's no answer. But if I ask, who distributed the prizes? The answer will be the principal. So, the principal is the subject in this case, which is performing the verb distributed. Therefore, the principal distributed the prizes. The principal becomes our subject. Distributed the prizes becomes the predicate. Now note, we have learned that the subject can be a noun or a pronoun. In this case, the prizes is also a noun. But is it the subject? No, because the subject is only the noun that performs the verb. In this case, the noun prizes is not performing the verb distributed. What is performing? It is the noun principal that is performing the verb. Hence, this noun, the principal, comes under the subject, whereas the prizes comes under the predicate. Also note, here we have the article the, which is modifying the noun principal in the subject position. Hence, the is also included in the subject. Now look at this example. The prizes were distributed by the principal. So here, what is the difference? In the previous one, we had the principal distributed the prizes, and here we have just changed the sentence a bit. We have said the prizes were distributed by the principal. So how do we find the subject in this case? Will it remain the same as the previous one? Well, let us see. First, let us point out the verb. What is it? Were distributed. Now, ask the question, who were distributed? There's no answer. What were distributed? The answer is the prizes. So, this is giving us the answer what. Now, if what were distributed is answered by the prizes, then definitely the prizes is our subject, and the remaining part were distributed by the principal becomes the predicate. Now, you must be wondering why in the previous one we had principal as the subject and the prizes in the predicate, whereas in this case we have just the opposite. Well, you must note that in that case the verb was only distributed. So the work of distribution was done by the principal. So if I say who distributed the prizes, the answer is principal. But in this case, when the verb is were distributed, then if I say what were distributed, then the answer is given by the prizes. Hence, here the subject is the prizes. Once again, the is the article modifying the noun prizes, and the remaining part of the sentence were distributed by the principal becomes the predicate. So from this, what do we learn? We learn that the same sentence, if written in different manners, can have different subjects and predicates. So what we need to do is identify the correct verb and then put what or who before the verb and ask the question. Whatever is our answer becomes the subject. A cat is sitting at the door. Now here, what is the verb? Is sitting. So, if I question who is sitting at the door or what is sitting at the door, what will be the answer? It will be a cat and not simply cat. Why? Because a is the article which is modifying the cat. Hence, the entire part becomes the subject. So, a cat is the subject, is sitting at the door becomes the predicate. There are many flowers in the garden. Now, can you find out the subject and the predicate in this case? Well, how do we go about it? Again, the same rule follows. We need to identify the verb first. What is the verb here? Are. Now, look at this sentence. So, if I ask, what are there in the garden? What will be the answer? It will be flowers. Will it be just flowers? No, it will be many flowers. Why? Because many here is describing or qualifying the noun flowers. Hence, many flowers together becomes the subject of the sentence, and there are in the garden becomes the predicate of the sentence. So, this is quite a tricky sentence, because if you question there are what in the garden, you might feel that many flowers is answering the question there are what in the garden. But it is not the case, because we know that the verb is performed by a noun or a pronoun. So in this case, this are is the verb. So we are talking about the state of many flowers. Many flowers are there in the garden. That sentence has been written as there are many flowers in the garden. So our subject is many flowers and there are in the garden is the predicate. So with this kind of sentences, be a little careful, because here we have the subject in the middle of a sentence and after the verb. So at times they can get a little bit tricky. So today, what did we learn? We learned that a sentence is a group of words which can make a complete sense without the need of any other words or group of words, and every sentence can be divided into subject and predicate. We have also learned how to divide a sentence into subject and predicate. So you can take up more examples and understand which is the subject and the predicate of the sentence. We will soon learn more about subject and predicate very soon. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. You can also register for free at deltastep.com or download the DeltaStep app to get all learning resources as per ICSE, CBSE, IB, Cambridge or any other curriculum. Over 5,000 amazing lectures across maths, science, English and social science. Our unique interactive video technology keeps you engaged, and our iDictionary feature allows you to quickly revise any concept. Master each topic at your own pace with our adaptive practice technology and 1 million plus questions. Get instant answers and detailed solutions. Be exam ready by taking unlimited mock tests, performance analysis along with actionable feedback, personal tutors to resolve your slightest of doubts. That's not all. You can also win amazing prizes like PlayStation, iPad, watches and many more, along with certificates through our Earn As You Learn program. So at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, it is rewarding too. So register for free now.